Okay, in this video, I want to show you how we was able to generate 20,000 views here on YouTube to then make us $80,000 of new revenue. And this isn't the first time we've done this. This is pretty much what we do every single month from this YouTube that you're watching right now. And some of you may be looking at these videos thinking, how the hell has he done that when he only gets like 1,000 views per video? And that is what I want to show you today. So to kick things off, I want to show you the old way versus the new way of how I now look at YouTube. Because everyone right now is being told to go out there and create YouTube videos. It's being told that content is king. This is all you need to be focusing on. And I do somewhat agree with it, but I'm here to show you the other side of the coin, which is going to be more aligned to you, especially if you want to get to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 months with your agency, coaching business, service business, whatever it is, right? So the old way and how I used to look at YouTube when I first started out, I've been posting content pretty much for 15 years. I started off in like posting gaming content when I was younger. I've tried pretty much everything, but this channel has been the by far the best performing one. So the old way, the way that I used to look at things is I would look at content as my main source of traffic. And what I really focused on was putting content first. So I'd go out there and I'd try to create content that would get, you know, hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views. That was the goal. I once got a video to 500,000 views. And it didn't make me fucking any money whatsoever. So I slowly started to realize that actually, you know, I'm putting all this time and this energy into creating the content. And let's say I'm posting 3 times per week, but I'm now at the mercy of the algorithm and I'm now at the mercy of how many times I can post per week. That then determines how much I can then scale as a business and how much money I can make, right? And the problem with this is when you're scaling a business, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And when you're posting on YouTube 3 times a week, there's also a lot of work that has to be done. So if you're just purely relying on content for traffic and you're gonna hit this plateau where you're already posting as much as you possibly can without diminishing sort of the quality, and that means you're gonna hit a plateau of how much you can actually grow your business. Now, don't get me wrong, I have friends that are making $500,000 a month just from their organic content here on YouTube. And I also have friends that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube that make absolute peanuts. And what I want to show you is kind of the 6-step list that I now look at and the way that I treat YouTube, because this is really how I make money. And I think for a lot of you, you know, $500,000 a month with organic content is very, very unlikely. It's not going to happen, I'm sorry to say. But the way that we now work it, this is so simple and really is relevant to you guys and can help you. So the way that I look at this now is it's not just the sole place we get traffic from. We obviously now supplement everything with paid ads. And the way that we do this and the way that we're able to generate 20,000 views that directly then goes ahead and makes us $80,000 per month is one, understanding the person that we're speaking to. Now, like I said, I used to try to create content that would appeal to everyone, try to get as many people in the door, just try to get eyeballs. And this is what a lot of people teach. But the problem with that is you're thinking from a perspective of growing your channel and growing your content and your brand rather than a perspective of growing your business. And don't get me wrong, like if you grow your brand, then in turn your business should grow, but only if you're speaking to the right person at all times. If I started posting about how I love collecting sealed Pokemon product, which I do, maybe I'll start a channel, none of you guys are gonna give a shit about those videos. And that means that the views that I get, although it might be more than what I'm getting now, will not relay back into paying clients, right? So you have to be very clear of that one person. You have to be very clear of who it is you're actually trying to help. Every single one of you watching this video runs an agency, a coaching business, or some form of high ticket service business online. And every single one of you want to get to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 per month, okay? That is why you watch my content. That is the content that I post. I'm not trying to help someone who runs an e-com brand. I'm being very, very specific and clear with the sort of people that I'm trying to work with. Now, if I branched out to just broader AI, sure, I could get millions of views, right? I can get so many views. I've already tested it. I know I can, but it doesn't bring you any business. It just brings you brand exposure, which yes, can bring you business, but you have to be very, very good to do this. You've got to know exactly how to research the right video ideas and what to say to do that. And I don't recommend doing it. It just doesn't make any sense. A lot of the time, you're busy enough trying to build your business, let alone trying to be some expert content creator, right? That's not what I am. I doubt it's what you want to be. Now, number 2 is when you have a YouTube channel, if you're just sending people to like a school community and that's your main business, yes, again, you can make money. You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month doing this, but you are missing out on so much opportunity just by not having a high ticket. Now, when I had a school group, we used to make around about like 60K per month from just YouTube traffic, right? Nothing else. And that was people that were coming into a school group paying us $97 per month. And that meant we had around 600 people in that community. Now, the problem with it was if I didn't post on YouTube, then we wouldn't get new signups that month, and churn, you're just battling like a churn of 20% when you have a low ticket community. That's just standard, that's just how it works. So I constantly had to keep posting to fill the pot. And then I was just like, what the hell am I doing? This makes no sense. This isn't the sort of business I want to build. This isn't even the market that I want to be speaking to. You know, this isn't the person that I want to be serving. So what the fuck am I doing? So we want to work with high caliber of people. We want to work with people that actually understand the value of building systems into their business. And in order for us to do that, we have to charge high ticket. So instead of charging $97, we now charge anywhere from $7.5K all the way up to $30,000 in some cases for our services, right? And that means that if we only get 900 views over here, we may turn that into a ton of cash. Now, a good example of this is we actually did turn 900 views into 90K 1 month with just YouTube, because one person that watched this ended up paying us 15K, who then introduced us to like 5 other people that all then paid us another 15K. So 900 views made us 90 grand. And comparing that to making 60K MRR, but having to post this many times and aiming to get hundreds of thousands or if not millions of views on your videos to make it work, it's completely different ball games. It's not even in the same league. So selling high ticket makes it much easier. It means that you only have to land a couple of people from a small amount of views. It makes the game so much easier to play. And this is obviously a main reason why we are able to turn $20,000 into $80,000. Now, the next step is consistency. And I don't mean consistency as you have to be posting 5 times per week. You can be posting once every 2 weeks, as long as that aligns with the sort of person you're helping, and as long as it aligns with the offer that you have. But what I mostly mean is consistency in what you're actually talking about. Like, I find myself getting caught in this trap where every now and then I'll get like this shiny object where I'm like, oh, I could go and make a video on this and it would get loads of views, but it doesn't align with this person again. So when I say consistency, yes, I mean, you know, posting 1-2 times per week is going to be your ideal sort of frame. That's really gives you enough time to go and focus on actually building your business too. So you're not just fully reliant on this on the traffic. You can go write some new ads. But I also mean just like the messaging, right? So everything has to be congruent. I used to pivot and change so much in my early days when I first started in the online space, and it wrecked me. So if you can be consistent with your posting, you can be consistent with your messaging, you can be consistent with who it is you're selling, and again, work on selling that high ticket, you're going to be golden. Now, stepping more into like the sales process side of things. So I want to look at resources, right? What we do when we get people on a sales call, it's not just a case of like, yes, they've come through cold on ads, right? Let's say they've booked in a call, they've come through the type form, they've seen a VSL, and then they're like, oh, okay, cool, I've booked in a call with this guy called Liam. I have no fucking clue who he is. He's devilishly handsome there. No, but they'll come through and they will book in and they have no clue who we are. So what we now have the opportunity to do is send old YouTube videos as resources. Like a lot of the content we're making, because we're speaking to that one person, we really understand like what that pain is of this person. So we understand like what problems they're having as well, right? And that means that every single content piece that we make is about that one person. So the resources that we can then send to people once they've booked in for a call with us are all around those problems and those pains that we then help solve. So instead of it just being like a long fucking email or a crazy long Word document talking about what we do or a custom proposal every single time, we just send them a bunch of resources basically of old videos or free training that we've got unlisted on this channel right now that walk them through our high ticket product and showcase that we actually understand who we help. So I now position YouTube as a little bit more of a base for us to store a ton of value and a ton of data. And for people that once they come into it, treat it like a funnel, right? They come into the top of our YouTube funnel and they end up watching a video here, video here, video here, video here, video here. And all of a sudden, like they've been left to their own devices, and over the course of 3 months even, they've been watching your content that you've been consistently posting with the same messaging over and over and over again, reinforcing that you know what you're talking about and you're very clear on the person that you help. And that's it. Like it's now a resource for yourself. It's a place for you to send traffic back to if they've made a decision or they haven't made a decision. And that leads me on to my next point, which is nurture, right? It acts as a nurturing tool. I always send people back to our YouTube channel if they don't convert. If they say they're not interested right now or they're not ready to make the investment, they're coming back to the YouTube channel. Sometimes we get a second booking come through and I'm like, oh, we spoke to this guy 3 months ago. And they're like, yeah, I've been watching your content. Literally, you know what you're talking about. I'm ready to make the purchase now. Like, it's so good for that. This is really the key thing that we focus with on YouTube now. It's less about it being the sole source of traffic. It's more about being this nurturing tool that we can just constantly push more and more people back into to then warm them up, educate them on what we do, and actually just show that we know what we're talking about. And that's the main thing with content. These aren't scripted. I'm not sat here like reading a teleprompter right now like, yes, I am doing, like, this is completely from the heart. This is fresh on mind. I came up with this video idea 10 minutes ago and I wanted to post it because I'm so confident in it. I understand it. I've got the conviction in talking about this and actually packaging this up as a useful resource for you watching this video. This is the same problem that I was facing when I was first getting started. It's the same problem that I wish I knew 2 years back because it would have made me way more money. So if you're not confident in that and you don't have the conviction in something and you're unclear on the person, you don't have an offer behind you, you're not very consistent, it's gonna be really fucking hard for you to make any money with content. Like, it's just so fucking hard. And the advice of going out there and everyone should be on content and everyone should be building a personal brand, I think is stupid because it takes you down this route rather than taking you straight into this route here, which is really what everyone cares about. Like, do you really give a shit about getting a ton of views? No, you probably care about making money. That's really what you should be worried about. So yeah, you have to actually be good at your shit. You have to actually know what you're talking about to make content work. And this brings me on to the final step, which is supercharge. Like, everything that you do moving forward, whether it be ads, whether it be posting on LinkedIn, whether it be, don't know about short form, but like any meetings you go to, any people that you meet, it supercharges everything because you now are not just this regular person who just runs an online business and it's kind of faceless. You now have a face behind the brand. You now have something that people can actually see. And in this world that we live in where everything's done online and people are sending tens of thousands of dollars to people that they've never ever met just by having this content and you being able to watch literally 400 long form videos. It works out to be, I don't know, if you played Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship, like 50 times, you still wouldn't have covered all of the content that I've produced here on YouTube. And that is just ridiculous. That is insane. And I have so many calls and I speak to the team that have calls with people from the ads that are like, yeah, look, before the call, I watched like 4 of Liam's videos and love what he's doing. So yeah, I'm gonna keep watching that. And it's like, fucking imagine if I didn't have that. It'd be so much harder to close cold traffic. It would be so much harder to build a business. So content really does supercharge everything that you do. But hopefully this video now shows you how we can go from getting a video out like this in a matter of 20, 30 minutes. You know, it doesn't take me long to film these. Yes, it's gonna get like 1,000 views. Doesn't matter because I know that that's gonna convert into a high ticket client, which in turn should net us around $70,000 to $100,000 per month just from the content that I post here on YouTube as well. And it scales, it grows as this content starts to improve, as my own skills start to improve, as the volume that we put out starts to get easier and more consistent, and our prices increase and the person that we're speaking to becomes more clear, and we've got more resources and we're nurturing more people and we're supercharging everything we do. It all just starts to compound. So if you're thinking about creating content, I highly recommend it, but only when you're actually good at something. Don't just go and create content thinking that people give a shit about your day-to-day life. They don't, and that shit doesn't convert into paying clients. And I don't really see the point of posting content unless you're actually trying to build a business. And any of you that sit there and go, I just love creating content, man. You're a fucking liar. Shut up. You're trying to make money. Stop lying to yourself. You can see right through you. Anyway, I will catch you in the next one. I need to go WD-40 my whiteboard in a bit.